So social learning is a big topic. It's a tough topic, but in many ways that's what we're involved with here. Don't think there are any facile answers in this. It is a complex issue. One way into it is to understand how some of the, what Hazel calls the DNA software of cultures, or the cultural programming, or the worldview, is actually wrong. Actually doesn't make sense. Ideas about growth, ideas about the environment as a thing, a bunch of instrumental resources, all these things don't make sense, but they're very solidly with us. So one of the things to get hold of is that this notion of critique, of getting an analysis of what doesn't work, is a useful starting point. I've talked about these other items before. So we're interested in exposing these defects, evaluating critiques, looking at necessary social innovations. And of course, all these things can be seen not just as overwhelming problems, but as opportunities. You're always faced with this carrot and stick in the future's view. Carrot is what you want to create, where you want to go, the vision you want to implement, the design. The stick is ignore this tidal wave and it will wash over you and obliterate everything. Or the future is threat. The future is opportunity, the future is threat. It's threaded right through all this. And there will be surprises. The term seed catalog has a completely different meaning. There's a small literature here. Nicholas Albury, very sadly killed last year in a car accident, but he worked in London for many years and created something called the Institute for Social Inventions. If any of you are interested, his co-worker, Valerie Yule, now lives in Melbourne. If anyone's interested in this area, it's entirely possible to arrange a session to bring Valerie in to talk about that kind of work, if that interests you. Elise Boulding's classic book, Building a Global Civic Culture, is another background one. The Clock of the Long Now that Joe was talking about earlier is another small book. These are all small books. Hazel's book that I mentioned earlier, Don Michael's, is the classic. It's not a short book, but it does go into a lot of detail about what social learning means. And Wilbur, of course. The usual clutch of websites. And back to the iris. Okay, well that's all I want to say about social innovations. I'm just trying to sketch in some broad parameters. I know it's a bit overwhelming at first. I promise you that as time goes by, and as you filter this material, as you work with the sources, the readings, the websites, as you begin to make this material into your own, rather than just resources out there, that you will make more and more sense of it.